If I told you there was a window into the real-time state of your nervous system, not a questionnaire, not a self-assessment, not someone asking you how you feel on a scale of 1 to 10, but an actual measurement, objective, immediate, on a screen and in front of you, would that change how you think about this? Because it exists. And once you can see your nervous system reflected back to you in real time, everything gets more real. We built a lot of foundation over the last 3 videos. You understand what coherence is, you understand why high performers get locked out of it, and you understand that your nervous system is trainable, that what was wired can be wired differently. But here's what I know about the kind of person watching this video. Understanding something intellectually is not enough. You want to see it. You want data. You want measurement. You want something you can track and verify and know it's actually working. That's not skepticism. That's how good performers think. And it's exactly why heart rate variability, HRV, is one of the most powerful tools in everything that I teach. Because HRV takes coherence out of the realm of theory and puts it on a screen. Today I'm going to explain what HRV is, what it actually measures, and what it tells us about the state of your nervous system, and it's why it's considered one of the most important numbers a high performer can track. Let's start with the basics. Most people know what heart rate is, the number of times your heart beats per minute. Simple enough. HRV is different. Heart rate variability is the variation in time intervals between each individual heartbeat. Not the rate, the variation between each beat. Let's make that concrete. Say your heart rate is 60 beats per minute. That sounds like 1 beat per second, perfectly regular, perfectly like a metronome. That's not what's actually happening. Even at the resting heart rate of 60, the gaps between those interval beats are constantly changing. One gap might be like 0.9 seconds, the next might be 1.1 seconds, then 0.95 seconds, then 1.05. That variation, those tiny fluctuations in the gaps between beats, is your HRV. For a long time, we thought variability in the heartbeat was just noise to the system. We were wrong. That variability is information. It's one of the clearest signals we have about the state of the autonomic nervous system. Here's why HRV matters so much. Your heart rate is constantly being influenced by the branches of your autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic, working in a continuous push and pull. When you inhale, your heart rate speeds up. When you exhale, it slows down. This is normal. This is healthy. This is the autonomic nervous system doing its job. The degree in which the heart rate responds to those inputs, the flexibility of that response, is what HRV captures. High HRV means your autonomic nervous system is flexible and responsive. Both branches are active. The system is balanced. The body can accelerate when it needs to, and it can recover when it needs to. It's adapting fluidly whenever it's being asked to do it. Low HRV means your autonomic nervous system is rigid. It typically means sympathetic dominance. The fight or flight branch is running the show, and the parasympathetic branch, rest and digest, is suppressed. The system is stuck. It can push, but it can't recover. And chronically low HRV, and this is documented well in research, leads to increased cardiovascular risk, impaired immune function, poor sleep quality, cognitive decline, burnout, and reduced longevity. Let me say that plainly. A chronically suppressed HRV is not just a performance issue, it's a health issue. And most high performers have never once looked at this number. Now here's where HRV and coherence connect. And this is the part I want you to really lock in. When you enter a coherent state, when your heart rhythm shifts from chaotic and erratic to smooth and ordered, your HRV changes in a very specific way. It doesn't just go up in number, it changes in pattern. In a coherent state, HRV shows what researchers call a sine wave pattern, a smooth rhythmic rising and falling oscillation. The gaps between heartbeats expand and contract in a regular ordered wave. The pattern is called cardiac coherence. This is the measurable signature of the coherent state. It also means that we don't have to ask you how to feel to know whether you're in a coherent state. We can see it. We can pull up the HRV waveform on a screen and know immediately whether the nervous system is shifted into that state. This is what makes coherence training fundamentally different from every other stress management approach out there. It's not self-reported, it's not subjective, it's not based on how relaxed you feel or whether your thoughts are quieter. It's a measurable, verifiable physiological shift. And it can happen in minutes. I've sat with executives, skeptical, data-driven, show-me-the-proof executives, and watch their HRV waveform change in real time as they practice this technique. Believe me, they can see it. And that changes everything. So let me give you the practical picture. What suppresses HRV? Chronic stress, poor sleep, alcohol, overtraining without adequate recovery, and most significantly, a sustained sympathetic activation. Hypervigilance, the state we've been talking about across the last few videos. All these things push HRV down and keep it there. So what improves HRV? Quality sleep, aerobic fitness done at the right intensity, good nutrition, and most directly, coherence training, controlled rhythmic breathing, specifically about 5 to 6 breath cycles per minute. This is shown in research to produce significant immediate increase in HRV. Positive emotional states, love, appreciation, gratitude, produce measurable increases in HRV. We'll go deep into why in video 6, but the short version is that these are not soft concepts. They're actual physiological inputs and they're measurable inputs. Consistent coherence practice over days and weeks has been shown to raise baseline HRV, not just in moments of practice, but as a sustained shift in the resting state of the nervous system. The nervous system that has been trained into hypervigilance begins to find a new baseline. You can track it, number by number, week by week. For a high performer, that's an entirely different relationship with this kind of work. It's not something you have to take faith on, it's something that you can actually measure. And in week 3, we put a device on them, and we see their baseline change, their pattern, their nervous system, in real time on a screen. Then they practice a technique, and they watch that waveform change. That moment, and I've seen it happen over and over again, stops being information and starts being personal. Because it's not about high performers in general anymore. It's about their nervous system, their number, their pattern. And the question shifts from, does this work, to how good could I get at this? That's when the training really begins. Heart rate variability is the measurement that makes coherence real. It takes everything we talked about in the first 3 videos, the science, the mechanism, and the possibility of retraining, and puts it in front of you in numbers that really matter, in a waveframe and on a screen. You don't have to believe that your nervous system is shifting. You can see it. And for high performers, for people who are evidence-driven, results-driven, show me the data people, that's not a small thing. This is the thing that makes this stick. In the next video, we're going to move from measurement into method. I'm going to walk you through the 5 core heart math techniques, what they are, how they work, and what the actual practice looks like. Because understanding the science is one thing, knowing exactly what to do is another. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you in video 5.